cutting the volume up and cutting the volume down. We ain't gotta do it no more. Freedom Journal of 1827. This is the first black newspaper, black-owned newspaper, and it said that we wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. Too long has the public been deceived by misrepresentations in things which concern us dearly. I'm going to take a moment and look at that. We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. Too long has the public been deceived by misrepresentation in things which concern us dearly. What was happening in that time is we wasn't, as black people, we were free, but we wasn't being represented well. Freedom Journal, their first print in 1827, literally said we wish to plead our own cause, and that simply means that we are going to tell our stories. Nobody else is going to tell who we are and what we do. Nobody else is going to depict who we are and what we do. Their form of what they see us as will no longer be the only thing that's written on paper. So we have to tell our own stories. We have to show others what is happening. Freedom Journal of 1827. This is the first black newspaper, black-owned newspaper, and it said that we wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. Too long has the public been deceived by misrepresentations in things which concern us dearly. I'm going to take a moment and look at that. We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. Too long has the public been deceived by misrepresentation in things which concern us dearly. What was happening in that time is we wasn't, as black people, we were free, but we wasn't being represented well. Freedom Journal, their first print in 1827, it literally said, we wish to plead our own cause. And that simply means that we are going to tell our stories. Nobody else is going to tell who we are and what we do. Nobody else is going to depict who we are and what we do. Their form of what they see us as will no longer be the only thing that's written on paper. So we have to tell our own stories. We have to show, others what is happening. ATEM is not working. Start the countdown again. The Freedom Journal of 1827. This is the first black newspaper, black-owned newspaper, and it said that we wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. Too long has the public been deceived by misrepresentations in things which concern us dearly. I'm going to take a moment and look at that. We wish to plead our own cause. Too long have others spoken for us. Too long has the public been deceived by misrepresentation in things which concern us dearly. What was happening in that time is we wasn't, as black people, we were free, but we wasn't being represented well. Freedom Journal, their first print in 1827, literally said, we wish to plead our own cause. And that simply means that we are going to tell our stories. Nobody else is going to tell who we are and what we do. Nobody else is going to depict who we are and what we do. Their form of what they see us as will no longer be the only thing that's written on paper. So we have to tell our own stories. We have to show others what is happening. Hey, bro. What's going on, everybody? This is Shantae Darby. I'm glad that you are logging in today. And so every now and then I do the Black Couch special. And essentially the Black Couch special is me bringing in guests, just like I did on the Black Couch. If you don't know about the Black Couch, go to my YouTube channel. Matter of fact, you can just go to blackcouch.org. It'll send you to all the previous Black Couch episodes that I've done. It's 50 of them. So if you got a lot to catch up on if you don't know anything about the Black Couch. But anyway, so Black Couch is essentially where I sit down and talk about entrepreneurs and people that are actually doing things in the community to talk about their journey, how they got started, because I want them to use their story to connect with you. People who may inspire to be entrepreneurs, may inspire to do community work, or may inspire to do anything, but just don't know how to get started. So that's the connection. That's the reason why the Black Couch was born. And so today I have another guest, and his name is Hamilton Jacobs. And Hamilton Jacobs is all of those things. But one thing that we're going to specify, two things we're going to specify, is the organization that he started called the Bridgeover Foundation. And then the second thing is his impact on the community and on education and schools. So before we go to Hamilton, first of all, I want to say thank you for being here, brother.
Man, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, cool. So before we go to that, again, we want to reiterate what you are seeing here. This is Black Couch Live on the KingdomCulture.tv network. That's KingdomCulture.tv. This is a network. So to go further of exactly what KingdomCulture.tv is, here's this video and talk about our official campaign. This is what we built. Everything, literally everything you see here. And let me show you just a little bit more. Welcome to Kingdom Culture Studios. And you guessed it, we built this too. And I'm gonna show you why this is so important. Those who control the media control the mind of the masses. Media is our education.
Media is how the world is shaped in our eyes. If the people that look like me and you don't control it, then who are controlling us? So in thinking about that, we are building what we call KingdomCultured.tv. What is Kingdom Cultured TV? Well, it's a network. Just like Fox Network, ABC Network, CBS Network, the stuff that you see on TV. We are bringing terrestrial TV to the internet, but we're doing it with integrity. We're a faith-based organization, so we are going to uphold standards that represent everyone well. We are building a platform where people that share our same ideals, share our same experiences, share everything that we would like to see in film. We're now providing a platform for that can happen. Not only going to be entertaining, but it's going to be educational as well, because it's going to bring up different points of views and different expertise in some of the subjects that we should talk about in our communities. That's what Black-owned networks have done in the past, and we're just really trying to bring that back. What we're building here, it's not your typical Christian network. Because when you think about Christian network, first thing you think about is a network that's playing sermons all day. You know, that's not what we're doing here. Ministry is happening, but what we're doing by educating.
When you don't vote, then you don't get what you need on the agenda for those municipalities.
Yeah.
Because they believe, I'm gonna call it what it is, when the community is silent, they get silent treatment.
Right.
Entertaining.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. That's how they insult to the country. God bless you.
Big Body God did it again. You woke up on the right side of the dirt, so let's give God a praise. This is John Lakin and friends.
Movies.
As soon as I get my legs stripped back, I'm out, all right? And you and your God, you have this place to yourself. You know, Coach, I'm the coach.
You know what coach I'm talking about. The one that sits high and looks low.
I had a good time too. You're a pretty funny guy.
And TV shows.
Of couples state that, you know what, it's so much going on, and by the time we get home and get the kids settled and this, we're so exhausted that we just don't even have time for each other.
Set aside some time. Put it on your calendar. At 7:00 p.m., we're having dinner in the bedroom. Or you can come out in your little sexy dress, whatever you feel. You know, fix yourself up. Do what you have to do for your spouse. Because when you got married and decided to have children, the children were not to take the place of your spouse.
So, come along. Nah, for real. We're friends now. Come along, ride this train. There's nothing to lose, but everything to gain. So, look, let's build this thing together. You see what we built? This is what we building. Let's build this together. All right, cool. So you see what we're building. Let's build this together. So, all right, but let's get straight into it. We got, again, Hamilton Jacobs in the building. Hamilton Jacobs, introduce the people. Tell them who you are. There's a camera right here specifically for you. Tell the people who is Hamilton Jacobs.
Oh, man. I'm a young man from Columbia, South Carolina. Father, husband, son.
Come on now.
Listen, a servant to the people.
Yeah.
And that's what I look at myself as somebody that wants to help as many people as possible.
Yeah.
Mostly everybody have seen my platform from being here with you, being with my brother, John Lakin. But we have a foundation, the Bridge Over Foundation, which my wife and I started just to be a bridge of success to all people in every aspect of life. We wanted to make sure that we were able to kind of be an incubator for them in their road to success. Whatever they needed, whatever resources they needed, we just wanted to make sure that we were able to avail ourselves. But man, I'm a community man. I love children. Been a coach for over 10 years.
Wow.
And I mean, I grew up doing everything that I do now, or seeing my dad do it. And then when I left from seeing my dad do it, I got to see my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and family do it. And I mean, we just walked right into it. My wife and myself, we just walked right into doing what we do now. And I love it. I wouldn't change it for the world.
All right. So now this Bridge Over Foundation, it didn't just drop out the sky. Like, what was the sequence of events that caused you? I mean, because this ain't just something I'm starting Bridge Over Foundation and then you go. Like, you had to put some work into it to get it what it is today. So, like, what was the inception of the idea?
The inception was, for a long time, I coached basketball. Coached Pop Warner football. And me and my friend, he's like my brother. I call him, everybody know him as Pooh Man. His name is Alfred Goodwin. We saw kids that that just needed help. They needed help. They needed resources. They needed somebody to be there. And then, you know, me and my wife being heavily involved in ministry, we saw people in our circle. We saw, you know, people in our community, in our neighborhood, adults that really needed somebody to be there for them, whether it was just a word, whether it was comfort, whether, you know, it was resource, finance, whatever it was. And we found ourselves being the people that everyone felt comfortable enough to come to. And so, you know, once you try to give all you can from yourself, me and Faith just said we have to figure out a way where we can bless people, just like with no holds barred, you know, no restrictions, no nothing. We just have the ability to try to bless people and give what we would give ourselves, just be able to try to get as many resources and things from the government that has put these things in place for people to be successful to do it. And so that's just what we did. We really sat down, we talked about it, we prayed about it, and we said we were going to do it. So we stepped out on faith and created the Bridge Over. We just wanted to be a bridge. And that's how the name came into it. We wanted to be a bridge for people, you know, a bridge to go across, and if you ever needed to come back, you could always come back across, you know, for another helping hand.
Wow, that's kind of cool. So, and this is a non-profit organization.
Correct.
Got it. So what made you go the non-profit route? Cause that ain't easy to do.
It's not, but you know, I think when you have a servant's heart, with me growing up in church and you know, looking at my dad and everything that he did just because he loved people, and looking at my father-in-law do the same thing, you know, it was just in my heart just to help people.
Got it.
You know, I wasn't not looking for money, not looking for fortune or fame, but just being able to give people a shoulder to lean on. You know, so I wasn't thinking about profit. I was just thinking about serving the people, how I could help them, you know, what we could do just to try to give people a chance at life. You know, there's a lot of people out here that are really life throwing them some blows. And so if we able to try to help them in any way possible, then that's what we wanted to do.
You guys became officially sanctioned after the pandemic.
Correct.
So how much of the pandemic affect your decision to actually go this route? Because now you're home, and you said your servant's heart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody, you know, everybody's jobs wasn't full time over the pandemic. You're like, I might need to put this on pause until we get everything straight. You know what I'm
saying? We gave so much of ourselves, and we started working with the Bridge Over before the pandemic, but we officially became a non-profit organization after the pandemic. And so we were always doing work. We were always doing it, but we got it, you know, officially stamped by the government and by the state earlier this year. And we just wanted to the pandemic, it made a lot of people, they lost loved ones. It touched a lot of people and affected them mentally.
Yeah.
It did a lot to our environment and to our community. And so we had to make sure that as people tried to come into what some are calling a endemic, that there was something in place, that there was something available to save our children. You saw over the pandemic, gun violence rose to an all-time high. It was already high, but violence amongst one another, amongst our children and our youth, it just got totally out of whack. Coming out of the pandemic, in the pandemic, and coming out of the pandemic. And I think that was a result of people not having resources, people not having money. And some people say that, you know, the pandemic did differently for, you know, various people. But we lost a lot of children. We lost a lot of people in our community. So we wanted to make sure that we were there. Be present.
You said a lot in there. One thing I want to kind of point out, because I found out about the Bridge Over Foundation through the I don't know if it was a prayer walk y'all did.
Yep, we did a walk against gun violence.
Okay. What made you guys do that?
We lost a young man. You know that I'm heavily involved in sports. We coach a lot of our players that played with Lower Richland High School down in Southeast where I live at. We've watched them and pretty much been with them since they've been in Pop Warner. So elementary, middle school, all the way to high school. And one of the young men that played on that team lost his life to gun violence.
Wow.
And, you know, a lot of people talk about things, but me and my wife said enough is enough. Like, we really have to be aggressive in our quest to try to save our children. And so, you know, it's easy to talk about it, but we said, listen, we're going to do this peace walk. We're going to put the word out. We're going to get some people, and we just going to step out on faith and bring it together. And when we put the word out, so many people were moved and wanted to be a part. And I think that we had about 150, almost 200 people to walk from Garnish Ferry Activity Center all the way to Lower Richland High School. And there we ended in prayer. We had song. We had the Columbia Richland Fire Department. We had the Richland County Sheriff's Department that was there. We had a city official that had never officially really been in the southeast part of our town, which is our, deputy chief, Melron Kelly.
Got it.
And so, Melron is a great guy. And he came down and he was just even amazed by the love that the community had to try to console one another as we move forward. So, you know, that's what prompted us. We just, you know, somebody had to step up and say enough is enough.
Right. How does that, I know it may be a bittersweet thing, because number one, your organization was the one that brought someone who don't normally, because Lower Richland is the one that always get looked over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But it brought a city official who never really looked at Lower Richland to that. I know that's a good feeling for you. But how does it make you feel that it took this long?
Well, with me knowing him and knowing that he's a good guy, I know that it was not on purpose. However,
but he ain't the only guy.
Yeah, he's not.
You know what I'm saying?
He's not. And I just think that, you know, it's just going to take more attention to what's needed. You know, we have a lot of elected officials in that area, but at the same time, it's a lot of people that has never experienced what the Southeast has to offer. And, you know, I live down there, but I'm from this end. And so I find myself always trying, well, when I say this end, I'm from Columbia, the Monticello area. So I find myself always trying to kind of merge the two so that someday we can all be together. Because I think that's part of the problem. Everybody is like so divided, you know, even though I know you have to do it as a state. You know, you got to have the Northeast, got to have the Southeast, you got North Columbia. but I think that there has to be a merging of everybody together.
Yeah.
So that we can try to begin to, fix the issues that we have within ourselves.
Yeah, especially, I mean, we all still Richland County.
Right.
At the end of the day, we still
right.
Richland County.
Exactly.
That's so interesting, man, that you said that. So, let's go back. So, and you mentioned your wife. You
Right.
mentioned that you're a father. So, and you mentioned that you're a servant. So, like those things, I know that you're a minister as well.
Correct.
So, all that is inside of you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, how do you balance it all, though? You know what I'm saying? Because you still got to be daddy.
Right.
You still got to be hubby.
Right.
And then when they ask you to pray on Sundays,
yeah, you got to pray.
You just can't just pull anything out because you got to know the Lord on Monday through Friday and Saturday too. So like, how do you balance it all, sir?
Man, you definitely balance it by praying and having God in your life first and foremost. That's definitely balancing the act. But I think one of the easiest ways and the easiest things for people to do to stay themselves is always be themselves. And so,
come on
with
now.
me, I'm integral. I'm a servant. What you see is what you get. I have a genuine heart. So I don't have to, it's not like I'm putting on a facade. Like people know they'll get the shirt off my back. If they call me and if I'm able, I'm going to do it. Most times, even if I'm not able, I'm still going to try to do it because that's just what type of person I am. So I believe that it's important for you to balance everything just by making sure that you stay true to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to make sure, because I'm a servant, I talk trash to my wife, but it's nothing that she can ask me that I won't do for her. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing that a member in my church or my sons or anybody can ask me that I won't do. Unless it's just some way off in left field, but most times that doesn't happen. And so I just try to stay true to that. I don't try to overextend or overexert, but I try to stay true to who I am, and I'm a helper. I like to help people.
Wow.
I want to see people be successful.
Yeah. That's cool. So, I'm going to shift here.
Gotcha.
You just ran for school board.
Did.
First of all, why?
Man, I ran because I have a vested interest.
Okay. Let's talk about this vested interest.
Man, I have children in the district. I'm a coach. I've been a coach for over 10 years. I interact with children daily, every day. Every day of the week, I'm interacting with children. I'm interacting with students. And I see firsthand what they need and hear firsthand what they're asking for.
Boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. So I ran just because I felt like I was genuine enough and hardworking enough to serve our teachers and our staff and make sure that our parents got what they need because I'm honest. But I knew that also I could give our children what they needed. So it's a win for everybody. It's not like, one group is being overlooked and another group is being highlighted. But I really felt like, and I still feel like, I have the tools to make sure that I'm able to help everyone, not just one group of people.
I think it's not just you have the tools. I think it's the position that you're in. You're in a position to hear and raise those questions and be able to connect. I think we talked about this. You'd be able to connect, our community to the people who actually make some decisions.
Exactly. And that's what we need. We need real, honest, truthful people in those positions. The first thing that you hear with people like myself, when you hear other people that may be more ingrained in politics or know about the political field, they say, man, this is not a field for you. You too good, your heart. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to. You don't want to get your hands dirty. Like, this is not the thing for you. But I just feel as though, we need more real people. So whereas it's easy to say, you know what, you're right, so I ain't gonna do it. I think that's almost cowardly. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm not gonna give the people what they need because it ain't for me. No, I'm gonna do all I can to try to make sure that we get somebody like me in those positions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know that we didn't get the results that we were looking for.
Right. Right.
However, I think like the next day or a few days later, you inside of school.
Right. Right.
Serving.
Yes, sir.
What prompted that?
Man, you can't stop. You can't stop. I tell people when I talk, you know, and we online, but I tell a lot of people when I talk to them, I had a friend, a good friend, that's that knows and hears and know a lot of people in high places, and he told me before the election really commenced, like really got started, he told me, don't do it. He said, don't do it, stay out, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I told him the same thing that I just told you. But what I tell people is, before I got into the campaign, I was in the schools. I was in the community. I was in the neighborhoods. And so, just because I lost, that's not going to change nothing.
Yeah.
The Friday before the election, I was in the schools.
Wow.
The I think it was the Wednesday or Thursday after the election, I was back in the schools.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you just have to keep going. You can't, you know, you can't let things like that set you back. You know, you do hurt. Yeah, nobody wants to lose. But at the same time, when you know what your purpose is and you know who you're doing it for, then you know you keep going.
Right. So what you typically do when you're there?
Man, well, one of the opportunities that you saw, probably the most recent was I was principal for the day.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I someone else, a good friend, matter of fact, Derek Pugh was on the couch, and I think he did something similar. I couldn't remember whether you did the same thing that he did or not. So principal for a day.
I was principal for the day.
Tell me about that experience, because I don't think I would ever.
Awesome. It was awesome. Listen, it was an awesome time. I got there early that morning. We got my staff donuts and coffee.
Okay.
I brought them donuts and coffee and went out and greeted some of the kids as they came in. And one thing that touched my heart, and this is no slight against the principal, but one thing that touched my heart was I was talking to a little girl, I was pounding her up, and she came in and she was smiling, and I told her, I said, I'm your principal for today. I'm Mr. Jacobs. And she said, you're different.
Oh,
And
wow.
was smiling, ran up and gave me a hug.
Wow.
And so, you know, when you have young children that come to you and tell you things like that, you know, that just make your day. But throughout that day, I had an opportunity to go to classrooms and kind of see what the principal of our schools in Richland 1 do throughout the course of the day. So I actually got to evaluate some teachers, sit in on some guided lessons, you know. I got a crock out of a basketball goal.
Oh, wow.
That got stuck.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, a crock. A young man got his crock somehow stuck in a basketball goal outside, and they needed us to go get it. So when I got a basketball, you know, I'm used to when the ball gets stuck. My boys playing sports, just throwing the basketball up there and hit it and knock it down. So we got his crock down. But I got a chance to just experience the day-to-day operations of the school and even see, you know, how some of our unsung or unheard of heroes, they operate, like our janitors and people like that. You know, those are the people that touch my heart when I'm able to go into the school. So that was a good day. And then the next day, we celebrated the veterans at my my middle son's, or my second to the oldest son's school, Southeast Middle School. We celebrated the veterans. And so we went there and we served them and had a chance to talk to them and thank them for all they do. So, you know, it's a continuous thing. We always try to stay busy and let our staff, administration, and teachers and everybody know that they have somebody that's going to help them.
Sweet. So we're going to pause. Well, we're not going to pause. We're going to run a video about going above and beyond.
Gotcha.
So let's run this video and tell me what you think.
Here in Charlotte, North Carolina, a young African American tried to get a shoe shine at the Greyhound bus station. He was arrested and taken to jail. On that same day,
It just didn't go back above and beyond.
The attention, I'm not used to it. I don't think that I've done anything worthy of distinction to warrant the attention.
This is Henry Darby, Walmart associate by night, stocking shelves on the graveyard shift from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. But he has a day job too, a tough one at that.
Good morning. How you doing?
As a beloved principal of North Charleston High School in North Charleston, South Carolina.
Well, then put your jacket on, please. Do not go in that building without your jacket on. COVID-19 has really placed a damper on the personal relationship because at North Charleston High School, we do express the 3 R's: rigor, relevance, and relationship. Everybody knows that I'm a hugger. When I see my student, come here, boy. Come here, child. Come here, give me a big hug. Meet them at the door, off the buses. You got problems, then come here. Give me a hug anyhow. I'm just that type of guy.
He's also the kind of guy who knocks on a student's doors after school and on weekends to check in. A student body who has 90% of their families living below the poverty line. The pandemic hitting his community especially hard.
I get a little emotional because when you've got children, you've heard sleeping under a bridge, or a former student and her child is sleeping in a car, or when you go to a parent house because there's problems and you knock on the door, there are no curtains and you see a mattress on the floor. And these people need, and I wasn't going to say no. And at my age, you know, we don't ask for money. We just don't. You just go ahead and do what you need to do.
And Mr. Darby did. That night shift at Walmart, it's for them. Every paycheck, every dime, all of it goes to helping his students in need. He has done so quietly, not even telling his manager at Walmart about his day job.
Even before we knew, it was something special about him. I would be so happy to have Mr. Darby for as long as he will have us as a part of his family and beyond.
His endurance, almost superhuman, walking what must be miles through his high school hallways during the day and stocking what looks like miles of shelves at Walmart at night. It's shocking to everyone but his students because they know that's just the kind of man he is.
He's ready to help anybody.
He's impacting the community in a very special way.
He's there when you least expect it, but when you need him the most.
Mr. Darby's only request of his students, whom he calls his grandchildren, is to pay it forward.
It's quite simple, simplistic. Just learn to help others. That is one of the greatest things that we could do in terms of human beings.
Simple, yet powerful words from a man who knows that one person might not change the world, but they might change the world for one person, and that can make all the difference.
I am an optimist, but I'm also a determinist. I know that it's going to get better. I know that these times will not always be with us. I know that my students will not always be in poverty. I know that because that's what we are. America makes it better for everybody.
All right, so I know y'all heard the name Darby a few times.
Right.
See, right, it makes the connection. That is actually my cousin. So that's my dad's first cousin from Charleston. And what they didn't mention is not only is he a principal, and not only that he worked at Walmart, but for many years he was an elected official.
Wow.
He was the city council for North Charleston for many years. So it's kind of shocking to me that people in Walmart didn't know who he was because he'd been in city council for so many
He seemed
years.
like a humble guy, so they probably.
Yeah, yeah. We call him Pumpkin, man. So Pumpkin is he is that kind of person. So I brought that up my own family, but
Right.
to talk about people that go above and beyond for students,
Right.
how do you feel about that, and how do you encourage other people to think that way?
It's necessary. When you look, and he touched on a lot of the issues that that we see a lot of times, us that work in the community and work with children, that we see that a lot of people don't talk about. You know, I was the manager for 5 years of a Section 8 property, or a HUD property.
Come on.
And so you see a lot of different things that, you know, some people would never imagine.
Wow.
And so it's important that we have people that are willing to go above and beyond the call of duty, because it's necessary. You know, you have a lot of people that that feel like, you know, well, that's not my job, I don't get paid for it, so I'm not going to do it. But when you know how much it means for that child, and that you may potentially be saving or helping the next president of the United States, you know, then you go above and beyond the call of duty to make those differences. So I commend him, but definitely encourage those people that are in those positions and that are able to do it, to do it. You know, you can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. And so if you, you know, if you're not able to do it, then that's understandable. But those people that can do it and that can, you know, push, making sure that they're able to assist everybody else, then, you know, they should do that.
Sweet, sweet. You said, well, I know you from Columbia. Be more specific on where you from and how you grew up.
Monticello Road, Hayward Brockington.
Okay.
Yeah, Hayward, all the way up Monticello at the top. Right there. Hayward Brockington Road is right before you get to CIU.
Okay.
Almost going into Jenkinsville. And so that's where I'm from. Born and raised, went to Eau Claire High School, Denny Terry's, Hayward Gibbs Middle School.
Got it.
And so, yeah, that was my upbringing.
Got it.
Coming
Got
up
it.
there. Yes, sir.
Got it.
Yes,
Got
sir.
it. So, you growing up, what are some of the things that you did that influenced you as an adult in the things that you're doing now?
Man, I've always been an overachiever.
Okay, let's talk about this overachievement.
Man, you know, it started in elementary school. I went to the district spelling bee.
Okay.
That was elementary. Middle school, I was an exchange student to Africa.
What?
I was an exchange student to Africa. I was the student body president in 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
When I got to school in 9th grade, I was National Honor Society. I was all of those things, not only National Honor Society, but I was my senior class president.
Okay.
You know, so I was, you know, gave address at graduation. So I always was in some form of government or doing something productive in school. I always was a leader.
Got it.
Yeah, I always was a leader. And then, like I said, I saw my dad while I was in my high school years. I saw my dad, in which he was Richland School District 1 Volunteer of the Year, back to back.
Wow.
You know, several different clubs, athletic booster club, not only athletic booster club, but band booster club. The list goes on. Blue Ribbon Committee, SIC chair, PTA, PTO. Heavily involved. So I seen that. After I matriculated and got into adulthood, then I watched my father-in-law bless numerous people. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, all throughout my life, I literally saw the people around me help other people. You know, so it wasn't like that was a strange territory for me. And it was just easy, you know, with my wife being the great woman she is, she has the same heart that I have. So we just walked into it together.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's dope, man.
Yeah.
Let's go to another video, and this is gonna bring me into my next point. Let's go to the Lean on Me video.
Some guy beating up Kid Ray.
threw Grace out of here.
You already threw this disgrace out once.
What's he doing back, Mr. Wright?
Someone must have let him in from the inside.
I want every door in this school chained and locked. All of them.
Yes, sir.
Fire code, and you cannot prevent me from going to the door.
Look, how many times do I have to tell you, huh? You're not getting in and that's that.
There's no right to lock these doors, and I have a duty to inspect this plant. This is not a plant, Chief Gaines. This is my school. If you want to get in here, you'll apply for a pass just like everyone else. You and your TV friends here.
What the hell is the bat for?
They used to call me Crazy Joe. Well, now they can call me Batman. I got thugs, drug dealers, and deviants of all kinds trying to get into my school. You might be one. I don't know.
Are you crazy? Are you nuts?
I got all day, Chief Gaines. How much time do you have?
I'll be back, Clark. I'll be back.
Thanks, Mr. Darnell. Good to have you back.
Clark, you should have never fired me in the first place.
Well, you're right. But don't get used to it.
Mr. Clark, why did you lock the school? Aren't you concerned about your students' safety?
Get these people back to their classes. Yes, sir. All right, kids, please. Come on, honey, get back to class. Let's go back up to class. Don't hang around.
You're playing right into his hands. That was the fire chief.
You know what he's saying right now? Black bastard can't throw me out. But you know where he's saying it? Out in the parking lot.
Mr. Clark, a baseball bat, is that the image you want to project?
They got me those emergency doors that sound an alarm when you open them up, like the ones the white schools have. I wouldn't have to chain them.
Those doors cost a fortune. We don't have enough money for books.
Well, tell the mayor that. Call the federal government and tell them to get me more money.
All right, so that was from one of my favorite movies, Lean on Me. I love that movie. And come to find out that my father-in-law actually went to that school.
Wow.
Yeah, he's from Patterson, New Jersey. He actually went to Eastside High. So,
wow.
One thing that you see in that film, and I brought this up, is what Joe Clark, the principal, had to do something unconventional to actually ensure the safety in a school that is really poverty stricken.
Correct.
And early in the movie, I didn't show that part, but he actually, he recognized some white folks that was at the school, and he said if they had the money to go somewhere else, they would have abandoned us a long time ago. So it is very evident that this ain't no middle class. This ain't all the things that was happening in this school is the result of poor people. You know, people dropping out, kids dropping out, kids not really even care about school, but they're there because it's a place to go. Maybe for some people, it may be the only meal that they might get.
Correct.
You know, for some, they actually want to make it out the system, but there is no resources there to help them make it to the next level. So that's what we're talking about, the scores being so low. And then, like earlier in there, he talked with one of the students, and if the path he continued to go, that he'll be dead in a year. Like, those are the things that they are dealing with. Now, this movie been back in the 80s. But we see the same thing now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we can't have too many Joe Clarks. So we have a lot of people will be down at Alvinist Glen, but we need more people with Joe Clark passion. We need more people that are that passionate about trying to create a safe haven for their children and for their students to learn. You know, some things are off limits, and some things, and this is a time where people have to be vocal about what they need. And how they want to achieve the goals that they've set. And we see everything that's going on with the schools right now. We see the guns coming into the schools. A couple of weeks or a couple of months ago, we had all the fake hopes. All the different things that are happening, you know, social media, bullies, and different things different things that are going on. So you have to be intentional about trying to create a plan and saying what you feel you need to be successful in that plan. Joe Clark felt like he had to chain the doors. You know, he knew that he had told certain people you couldn't come back to the school.
Right.
He knew that, you know, the fire marshal and the people on the outside weren't that concerned as he was to help his students to go further in life. And so we need more people that have that same passion. Of course, they won't be able to use the same tactics, but they need to be able to tell the people and the powers that be that this is how I feel our students will be successful.
Yeah.
And be given that opportunity. So
Yeah.
I that is also one of my favorite movies. I hadn't watched it in a long time, but every time I watch it, I like seeing his passion, and I also like seeing that his students saw that he cared.
Yeah.
You know, his students saw that Mr. Clark, he gonna be the only one that go to bat for us. He not gonna let us get pregnant. He not gonna let us do drugs. He not gonna let us sell ourselves short. And so I believe just as being a coach in the community and being a mentor to several students, it's my job to do the same thing.
Right.
I'm not gonna let you fail.
Right.
If I see you and your pants hanging down, I'm not gonna just let you walk around with your pants hanging down. I'm gonna tell you, listen, pull your pants up. If I'm talking to a young lady, I'm gonna tell them, listen, no, you don't deserve that. You know, God didn't bless me with a daughter. He gave me 4 sons. But if I see any of my little cousins or, you know, any of the people that look to me as to be a father or my goddaughter or anybody else, I'm gonna always tell them, listen, you deserve the best.
Yeah.
Not, you know, nothing less. And so we owe it to ourselves, and we owe it to the people that we serve to make sure that we giving them the best of us. And I believe that Joe Clark did that.
Oh man, he definitely did. One thing that we did see in that film was, even though he had unconventional methods, it yielded great results.
Right.
But at the same time, like, it took him breaking down so many barriers, like mental barriers, like mentality of the school, like mentality of parents.
Man.
Like, how do you talk about you being an overachiever. You talk about how your parents was involved and your achievement involved in everything that you was dealing with, and you a parent the same way.
Right.
But how do you encourage someone who is on Section 8 that's working 2 jobs, or, you know what I'm saying, got a few kids, and they just can't be the PTA meeting and be at their job at the same time? Like, what is the encouragement for them?
As a servant, for me, is to meet them where they are.
Okay.
And so I help them by making sure that, you know, if you can't get to the PTA meeting, I'm going to make sure you get the information. Or I'm going to try to make some resources available for you. I think that a lot of the problem that we see right now, and we see in schools, and not only in schools, but community and things of that nature, we stop at 1 or 2 ways to try to inform or educate a person. And if those 2 don't work, or those ways that we've already implemented doesn't work, we stop there. And we basically say all is lost.
Yeah.
You know, we don't try to go out, you know, me and you were talking a little bit earlier, like the old methods of door knocking, doing things of that nature, and really just, you know, word of mouth, spreading the word, you know. And so it's important that you do whatever it takes to get the word out, to make sure that people are informed. It's going to take a little bit more work than usual, but you have to do that. And I think that was what he did. He saw that, you know, the ways that we're used to doing things, that's not going to work. So we have to do something different, and you have to change the mentality of the people. And I think when people see that you are passionate, when people see that you are willing to work and that you're going to go hard for something, then most oftentimes they'll join you.
I got a video to coin exactly what you said. We're going to do it out of order. Run the video for Canada 2.
So here's the other issue that I just think we've got to be concerned about. We can't stifle innovation in our business. We have to innovate. And people in our business get mad about innovation. They get angry if you do something different. If you try something new, people always ask you, it's charter schools. Yeah, it's charter. Let's try some stuff. Let's see. This stuff hasn't worked for 55 years. Let's try something different. And here's the rub. Some of it's not going to work. You know, people tell me, yeah, those charter schools, a lot of them don't work. A lot of them don't. They should be closed. I mean, I really believe they should be closed. But we can't confuse figuring out the science and things not working with we shouldn't therefore do anything, right? Because that's not the way the world works. You think about technology. Imagine if that's how we thought about technology. Every time something didn't work, we just threw in a towel and said, let's forget it, right? You know, they convinced me, I'm sure some of you were like me, the latest and greatest thing, the Palm Pilot. They told me, Jeff, if you get this Palm Pilot, you'll never need another thing. That thing lasted all of 3 weeks. It was over. I was so disgusted I spent my money on this thing. Did anybody stop inventing? Not a person, not a soul. The folks went out there, they kept inventing. The fact that you have failure, that shouldn't stop you from pushing the science forward. Our job as educators, there's some stuff we know that we can do, and we've got to do better. The evaluation, we have to start with kids early. We have to make sure that we provide the supports for young people. We've got to give them all of these opportunities. So that we have to do. But this innovation issue, this idea that we've got to keep innovating until we really nail this science down is something that is absolutely critical. And this is something, by the way, that I think is going to be a challenge for our entire field. America cannot wait another 50 years to get this right. We have run out of time. I don't know about a fiscal cliff, but I know there's an educational cliff that we are walking over right this very second. And if we allow folks to continue this foolishness about saying we can't afford this, so Bill Gates says it's going to cost $5 billion. What is $5 billion to the United States? What did we spend in Afghanistan this year? How many trillions, when the country cares about something, we'll spend $1 trillion without blinking an eye. When the safety of America is threatened, we will spend any amount of money. The real safety of our nation is preparing this next generation so that they can take our place and be the leaders of the world when it comes to thinking and technology and democracy and all that stuff we care about. I dare say it's a pittance. It's a pittance what it would require for us to really begin to solve some of these problems. So once we do that, I'll no longer be angry. So you guys, right, help me get there.
So that clip mainly talks about how, just like how you said, using more than just the normal one or two ways to do something that we've been doing for the last 55 years that been failing. Because life is ever changing.
Ever changing.
You know, when you talk about the PTA meetings, I remember back at home. Now I live here in Richland County. Back at home is Williamsburg County, which is 2 hours away.
Right.
So I remember during the time something was happening with the school. My high school got closed down this year, but I remember when they was trying to fight to keep it open, and the only way I was able to actually listen in on the conversation is one of my sister, I call her my sister, she went live through those meetings.
Right.
So like I was able to stay abreast 2 hours away by using something simple as going Facebook Live.
So you're wondering why there's no live stream PTA meetings, right? I'm wondering the same thing. Listen, but I'm just serious, you know, we have to adapt to the times, just like he was saying. You know, you look at trying to prepare the next generation. This next generation that's coming, even, you know, my generation that I'm in, but the one behind me, they don't want to sit still.
Right. Right.
They well, let me not say all of them, but the majority, they don't want to sit still. They're in the social media, they're in the phones, they're in the technology, and so we have to make sure that we are meeting the people where they are.
Yeah.
You know, you might not get nothing but 10, 20 people in a meeting, but if you put it out there on a live stream, you might get 50 to 100.
You know what I'm saying?
Or even if you don't get 50 to 100, you might have 20 to 30 people to share the meeting. This is what happened, or you know, it's so many different ways that you can meet the people where they are, and so we just have to, you know, be open to it.
Got
to be open to it. Like he said, you know, you said the world is ever changing. He said we have to be innovative.
Have to be innovative.
You know, we have to keep innovating. You have to keep, you know, creating. So that's one of the things that I wanted to really pour into my own sons. You know, this world of endless possibilities.
Absolutely, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Keep whatever you want to do. Don't close yourself off. Don't box yourself in. Whatever you want to do, me and your mom always gonna support you. As long as it's right, we always gonna support you. We always gonna be behind you. But you know, don't feel like there's anything off limits. You know, just shoot for the stars.
That's so many things that you can do once you start thinking innovatively when it comes down to the school system. So I'm putting this challenge out there for everybody, honestly. I know you have the Bridge Over Foundation, which will tackle some of those things, but you can't tackle everything.
Right.
So, like, if someone is listening to this right now, like, and you got an idea, just start working that idea that's going to try to help push things forward. Just like we talk about, like, why is there's not live stream at the school, at the PTA meeting or at the school board meeting. Now I do know that Richland County Council, they do live stream their sessions.
And Richland one does have a stream where you can watch the meeting. Now I don't think you can comment in those meetings, but you can watch.
But see, that's still a barrier, because when I was getting my master's online, and they had a live stream class, or they had some type of Q&A with someone that came in, like, most of us who was watching online had first dibs on the questions that we can ask, or just for clarity, like, just because you're not in the, this pandemic has shown us that everybody just can't be in the room. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and some people are still scared to go in the room. Just truth be told, you know, some people are like, you know, I'm a little eerie. I don't want to go.
And it's so funny. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, and this is when I fully realized how behind our public school system is. I was a school teacher, well, a music school teacher in the private sector for 2 years. I came in 2014, and then I left in 2016. But in those 2 years, we had already had an online system, a hybrid system, of where if our students come once a week, but they still essentially was able to communicate and have class and receive instructions on the other 4 days.
Right.
So they did their homework online. We grade their paper live online. And this was in 2014.
Right.
Those students who were full-time in our music school, because our music school was full-time, actually took their homeschool classes through K-12 program, which is a homeschool program, but we did it in a school setting, so it set up like a mini university. So, like, literally, the kids was never out of instruction, but like, even if they wasn't present, the hybrid system was already put in place. Now, fast forward to 2020. Public school system, like, oh, we don't know how this thing here gonna work. We don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? But the private school system been doing this
for forever.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
the truth of the matter is, if we cannot retain teachers, and teachers decide to a leave in the mass drones that they say that they are going to leave in.
Oh, they already.
Yeah, it's a lot of them already leaving, but
vacancies.
it's even more saying, you know,
this could be it.
Yeah, this is it. I'm gonna find me something else to do. We're gonna have to. Our teachers or our students are gonna be learning on computers.
Yeah, that's true.
And really, you know, I love that interaction with, you know, teachers being able to help. Teachers being there, being able to talk to students, still being able to invest in them. And there's some life lessons that you learn from teachers.
Right.
I know my band director, Myron Thomas, listen, I'm still listening to lessons that he taught me, you know, when I was in high school. And literally he had me, because my sister and my brother was in the band, he had me all the way from when I was in elementary school, you know, being able to march in the band and just marching parades and little stuff like that, where he saw me grow up. And so he always had a life lesson. I was always able to talk to me and get through to me and, you know, tell me what to do and what not to do when my parents wasn't in school.
You got it.
You feel what I'm saying?
Got it.
And so our teachers are so important. But if we keep going the way that we're going,
that's just
our students going to be doing K through 12 program.
But this is the thing though, like, and I know you can attest to this. We generally see students do well when they are involved in arts or sports. When you can join the two together, like you talk about the band program. I was in heavily in band because we both musicians.
Right.
So and we tend to see students have more passion because they have a balance there. That they can, like STEM programs for some students, they just not interested in.
Right.
But they'll do the STEM and be well in STEM if they get rewarded in being able to play basketball, be able to play football for the season. Right. Because they don't want to get sit down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, prime example, I can use my own son. My oldest son had to make some adjustments when he got in high school for the first year.
Got it.
So he did his adjustments, but this year he set his mind, he knew he wanted to make sure he played football, he wanted to make sure that he played basketball, he wanted to make sure that anything that he wanted to do, whether it is go to the movies with his friends, you know, he wanted to make sure that he applied himself and he accomplished those goals. And I mean, this year I'm probably the hardest on him out of everybody, out of my wife, out of my brother-in-law, my mother-in-law. You know, I'm probably the hardest on him, but he's really knocking them out the park.
Good.
You know, he's on pace actually to graduate early. So
come on now,
man. Listen, he did well, they say when you do a 360, you turn right back in the same place. But I guess he did a 180. But I'm telling you, I mean, I'm just so proud of him. Yeah, I mean, he's about to play basketball right now. But those sports, wanting to be a part of that, that being a big part of what we do as a family. You know, that was important for him. Like, Dad, I got to play. You know, you know what I'm saying? We do the park. You know, Coffin Road Park, but it ain't nothing like putting on your high school uniform and being able to go out there and your friends and everybody be there. So, you know, that's just a testament to just what you said. You know, when you really have something that drives you and gives you that determination to go forward, then it definitely aids in that success. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Run Canada 1.
I'm a tester guy. I believe you need data, you need information, because you work at something you think is working, and you find out it's not working, right? I mean, educators, you work, you say you think you got it, you're great, no, and you find out they didn't get it. But here's the problem with testing. The testing that we do, we're going to have our test in New York next week, right? It's in April. You know when we're going to get the results back? Maybe July, maybe June. And the results have great data. They'll tell you Raheem really struggled, couldn't do 2-digit multiplication, and it's so great data, but you're getting it back after school is over. And so what do? You go on vacation. You come back from vacation, now you've got all of this test data from last year. You don't look at it. Why would you look at it? You're going to go and teach this year. So how much money did we just spend on all of that? Billions and billions of dollars for data that it's too late to use it. I need that data in September. I need that data in November. I need to know you're struggling, and I need to know whether or not what I did corrected that. I need to know that this week. I don't need to know that at the end of the year when it's too late, because in my older years, I've become somewhat of a clairvoyant. I can predict school scores. You take me to any school. I'm really good at inner city schools that are struggling. And you tell me last year, 48% of those kids were on grade level. And I say, okay, what's the plan? What did we do from last year to this year? You say we're doing the same thing. I'm gonna make a prediction. This year, somewhere between 44 and 52% of those kids will be on grade level, and I will be right every single time, right? So we're spending all of this money, but we're getting what? Teachers need real information right now about what's happening to their kids. The high stakes is today, because you can do something about it.
Yeah. Everything he said was on point.
Man, I love this dude, man. Yeah. I actually watched some of his seminars when I was teaching. Mm-hmm. That's how I knew about him. And a lot of these clips are old. Right. But again, nothing changed.
Right. You're right. You're right, because we see it every day, you know. When you look at the SC Department of Education, and then they'll give you the breakdown of all the test scores from the year before or the year, you know, and they give you, you know, 2020 to the 2022 and everything, and they'll give you all the data that you need, but it's after the fact.
Yeah.
You know, and so we, to a certain degree, and I guess nobody has figured this out other than him, or you know, some people have figured it out but just don't have the power or know how to change it. But we have to figure out some type system to get the information to our teachers earlier, so they can try to correct the problem before it's too late.
Right. Honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think that is a teacher problem. I don't think it's a principal problem. I think it's just this, like the educational system is set up in that way. Just like he said, like after a certain amount of time, you don't think about it. But in my head, I'm like, okay, so if say for instance, second grade took the standardized test, right? And the data came back. Those second graders are now third graders. So what are some of the discrepancies that they had in second grade that we can revamp our third grade?
Right.
So, you know, of course they ain't gonna relearn what they have in second grade or what they're struggling in, but because I use this for example. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. When I was selected to be a part of the Upward Bound Initiative program, so it's still Upward Bound program. Upward Bound usually is a program where it takes most of their achieving students and expose them to a little bit more. It's a little more challenge. It's a little bit more instruction. It's a little bit like we had cultural like things. They took us on trips and stuff like that. But I was a part of the initiative program, which was a different grant funding, a part of the Upward Bound program. Those were students who didn't do well in specific subjects. Now the crazy thing is, my specific subject was math.
Right.
But I'm incredible at math. I just didn't apply myself. I was incredible at math.
Which is usually the case with most people.
So this is the thing. I didn't understand it then, but I remember our counselor, Mr. Hilton, who is a dear friend of mine now, he sat my parents down. We looked at all the scores from my 8th grade all the way up until like 10th grade. So looked at the scores, looked at, in my head, I'm like, okay, well, it doesn't make sense if my 9th grade average brought down my overall score, because that's what I did in 9th grade. I just wasn't paying attention. But what he was saying is, we have to strengthen this so well to when they look at your transcript to go to college in 12th grade, that the average of those scores would be what it needs to be for me to even be college ready.
Right.
And that may not come from whether you applied yourself or not. That's just the numbers in which you did. So that's taking the data. This is an initiative program. This is taking the data and looking at the trajectory of the student.
Right.
And what do we need to do right now as a trajectory? Why? Well, I know you probably don't know, but why isn't that something that, like, I know it's a lot of students in the class. I know it's a lot of students in these schools, and ain't enough teachers, ain't enough guidance counselors. But that was effective for me personally on a government program that said that, okay, this is what we need to do for these students to see whether it worked. And it actually worked, even though the initiative program didn't last that long. But
and that's the problem. That is so many layers to what you just said, you know, because you have the people that know where to get the funding to create these programs to help people that don't necessarily want to tell the other. It should not be competition in these areas, but they don't want to tell the other people that can create a resource or avenue to help children, because they want to make sure that they keep the funding coming in for their organization or whatever the case may be. So you have that. Then you have, there's not enough organizations itself, or there's some type cap on how many people you can take. So you can't,
Yeah,
you know,
we had 30.
Right, so you can't make available, you know, 30 out of 22,000 kids, you know what I'm saying? Even if you split that in half, you're at a disadvantage. And so it's just, right now we're running into, and what I like to see, or what I'm enthused about seeing right now, is I see a lot more organizations, and I'm praying and hoping that every organization does the work, that they're just not forming just to form, but these organizations are actually doing work. But I see a lot of organizations coming about that are wanting to help in the community and help children and help homelessness and you know what I'm saying, the food deserts that's out there and the different things like that. And so we need more organizations that are willing to create what the Upward Bound Initiative did, you know, so that we can touch a high school student, so that we can touch middle school students. What I've found of late is that, you know, God is really pushing me and been talking to me about really not changing away from the middle schoolers and the high schoolers that I help, but really focusing in on the elementary kids. Because what I've learned just from being in property management and coaching and different things like that, if we can touch the kids early and instill in them what they need and positivity and letting them know that they have someone that can support them and that will support them, then they'll continue and keep that with them always on their mind as they grow older. Sometimes it's harder, and it's possible. So I know those people that may be listening, those people that work in this area, I don't want them to get discouraged. But sometimes it can be harder to get through to older kids than it is to get through to younger kids. You know, so I'm really focusing in on trying to make sure that I always said that, you know, influence is cool. I want to have influence. You know, influence is cool, but I really want to make sure that I'm able to make an impact.
That's it. Run Canada 3. This is good. This is good. Run Canada 3.
So what is the high school dropout rate at Harlem Children's Zone?
Well, you know, John, 100% of our kids graduated high school. Last year in my school, 100% of them went to college. This year, seniors will have 100% graduating high school. Last I heard, we had 93% accepted to college. We better get that other 7% for, you know, that's just how this goes.
And so how do you stick with them after they leave high school?
Yeah, well, you know, one of the bad problems we have in this country is these kids, the same kids, these same vulnerable kids, when you get them to school, they drop out in record numbers. And so we've figured out that you've got to really design a network of supports for these kids that in many ways mimics what a good parent does. They harass you. Right? They call you, they say, I want to see your grades, how you do on that last test, what are you talking about that, you know, you want to leave school, or you're not coming back here. So a bunch of my kids know, you can't come back to Harlem because Jeff is looking for you, right? They're like, I really can't come back. No, you better stay in school. But you know, I'm not kidding about some of this. And it gets a little bit to the grit issue. When kids know that you refuse to let them fail, right? It puts a different pressure on them, and they don't give up as easy. So sometimes they don't have it inside. And they're like, you know, I don't want to do this, but I know my mother's going to be mad. Well, that matters to kids, and it helps get them through. We try to create a set of strategies that gets them tutoring and help and support, but also a set of encouragements that say to them, you can do it, it is going to be hard, but we refuse to let you fail.
Well, thank you, Dr. Canada. Please give it up for him one more time.
Exactly what you said, man.
That's it. You gotta refuse, man. I'm telling you, I cannot forget, or I can't say it because I don't want to forget anybody. But if I could celebrate anybody, if I could celebrate any one person that I feel like is a unsung hero that helps children left and right and been helping them for forever, it's a guy named Robert McCray.
Okay.
We call him Boo.
Okay.
He's over the Trey 3 Hurricanes. He's over Team Unleashed, South Carolina, Team USC, which we have a team under that program. And my sons play football under his program as well. We played with the Hopkins Packers. And there's a lot of people that's doing a lot of great things. So I don't want to say, you know, not, you know, acknowledge those people. But him in particular, man, when I tell you, he is just like, he's a champion for children. Yeah. Man, I'm talking about let kids come into his home, stay in his house, go to meetings to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, children can get back in school. Yeah. You know, so many people trust him. Matter of fact, you came down to practice. Yeah. Listen, so many people trust him with their children because they know if ain't nobody gonna go to bat, he's gonna go to bat, and he's not going to let you fail. And you know, we do the same thing. Me and my wife do the same thing, and there's a lot of people that's doing it. But when you work with children, and when you give your all, you have to have that mentality that failure is not an option. Yeah. And you know, you can get tired, you can get frustrated. You know, a kid may come to you several times and might trip over the same thing a million times, but you have to be able to say that 1,000,001 time.
Get up.
Get up, man.
Try it again.
Listen, you're going to make it. You can keep going.
For sure.
There's nothing that's going to stop you, nothing that's going to block you. You know, keep moving forward. And so that's, you know, that what he said and that mentality, when you're working with children and you're really trying to help them, that's important to have. You can't do helping children and doing the job that we do is not for the faint of heart.
I'm telling you, that's true.
You know,
that's true.
It's not because like children, and sometimes I get emotional when I talk about children, but children mean that much to me that I literally do anything to help them.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Wow. You know, I'll do whatever I can to help any child or any student. I'll help them. And, you know, I don't have to tell you, you can go to the schools, you can talk to them. You know, we got athletes that are, you know, I call him my nephew. One of my nephews is one of the top athletes in the state, one of the best wide receivers. You know what I'm saying? We have people that's just humble, good kids that value, you know, what we say, even when we correct them because they know it's in love. Wow. Yeah, so
that's what's needed, man.
You can't. Yeah, it's no. Failure is never an option. Failure is never an option.
Look, my brother, we gonna wrap this thing up, man. Look, man, I appreciate like being able to sit. I'm gonna tell you what prompted this. When the principal for a day, right after you lost the election, that says a lot about your heart, bro. Right. Like I know you outside of the cameras. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. We've done a lot of things together, and we definitely gonna do a whole lot more together.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
But I wanted to bring you on just to for people to see like your heart. You know what I'm saying? Right. And like, man, like that's one of the things that why we have to invest in black-owned media. Now you see in the 5-minute countdown where I talk about in the Freedom Journal that they said that too long have others been spoken for us, so we had to like literally tell our own stories because like you ain't in the newspaper, you ain't, you know what I'm saying, like things that you're doing, the person that you talked about, you don't see them on the 5 o'clock news. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's so many good things that are happening in our community, and it just kind of get overlooked because we don't have a platform to tell our own stories. So if we really understand like the importance of black-owned media,
and the truth, I don't want to cut you off.
Go for it.
Truth be told, as well, one thing that I think that we do in our culture is we've been conditioned to feel as though anything we highlight that we do ourselves is boasting. So we don't say what we do, and we call that being humble. If that makes sense, you know, you know what I'm saying. And so it's important. I'm thinking, and I'm learning that you value your worth, and to a certain degree, you have to put yourself on display.
That's true. That's true.
My brother-in-law, me and him was having a good conversation today, and he told me, he said, if you never say anything about what you do, people will never know.
That's true.
If I said half the stuff that I do, and my wife know, because I tell her all the time, people would be like, dude, you are crazy. Like, why?
I believe you.
Why would you do that? But that's just my heart. You know what I'm saying? That's my heart. I love people. I love people, and you know what I'm saying, I love being able to help people. What you see, like I said earlier, what you see is what you get. I'm honest all the time. I ain't gonna even say I try to be honest. I'm honest all the time. Sometimes people might not like what I say, but they know it's the truth. They may not agree with it, but they know it's the truth. I try to be integral. I try to make sure that I show love. Try to make sure that and I hate to say this because my wife don't like to hear me say it, but I try to preach my funeral daily.
Interesting.
Try to preach my funeral daily. I'm sure some great preacher, when the Lord called me home, I'm sure some great preacher come and preach somewhere, but I want people to be able to say, Hamilton was a good guy.
Got it.
If I don't know nothing else about him, he was a good guy. He was consistent. He didn't change. He was always the same. And that's big for me. So I walk through. You know what I'm saying? I love my haters. I show them love, and I love on the people that love me even more. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
And I'm gonna be here. It didn't go my way. It hurt. I know everybody. There's an opportunity because I know everybody been listening. Everybody been waiting. And I hadn't really had a candid conversation about the election. Just because you give yourself time to allow your emotions to not take over your conversation. But truth is, it hurt. You know what I'm saying? You hurt, especially when you feel as though you are the best candidate for the job. It hurts, but I never turn my back on my people.
That's good.
I never turn my back on all the children that I love and I help. I never turn my back on my community. You know what I'm saying? I just want to celebrate my wife. My wife been there riding right along with me the whole way. You know what I'm saying? Pushing me. You know what I'm saying? Times that where other people didn't see a lot of the things that was happening, she was always by my side. She was ready to jump out there. I had to, you know what I'm saying? Would have to just hold up. You know what I'm saying? Stay back. But she really was there with me and all of my family. You know what I'm saying? I love everybody. All my family prayed for me daily, covered me. But my wife was every step of the way. You know what I'm saying? She was on my heels. She wouldn't let me go anywhere, you know what I'm saying, by myself or not being covered. So, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I'm learning, to appreciate my village, appreciate the people that's around me. I had a lot of people that stepped up and that was there for me. You know what I'm saying?
That's
and I'm going to be there for them.
That's good.
I'm going to be there for them. I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's funny you said that, appreciate your people. On another show on the network called Craig and Kobe, one of the comments, Craig said, his grandmother said that how you say that? A frog will praise his own pond even if it don't have a lick of water in it.
Man, let me tell you something. My father-in-law, and you might have seen some of the posts that I posted before. My father-in-law would always tell me, I know you want to wrap it up. My father-in-law would always say, it's a sad frog that won't praise his own pond. And so every chance I get, you know what I'm saying, I try to celebrate my wife, try to celebrate my children, all the people that's around me. You know what I'm saying? I got a big pond. I got a big village. I got some people that I know if I call them, they're going to be right here. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my friends, a lot of my family. You know, I got a small circle, but they strong.
Sweet.
Small circle, but they strong. And so I appreciate it, you know. I have to appreciate my community. Every day somebody come and tell me, son, keep going. You made me proud. You know what I'm saying? Old people that I don't even know.
Come on now.
I saw a lady, I was on the phone with my wife today at Food Lion, and a lady came up to me while I was on the phone with her and said, I voted for you, but God got something bigger for you.
Sweet.
God's got something bigger for you, and I know I made the right decision when I voted for you. And you're a great guy.
Come
you know
on,
what I'm saying?
Come
you know,
on.
so when you get those messages, man, you know, you want to hurt inside, but when I tell you, like, literally, you know what I'm saying, so much love from the community, man. It'd be touching when I hear people come up to me, like people I don't even know, and say, hey, you Hamilton Jacobs, right?
Right.
And they tell me, you know, I'm proud of you. Keep going.
Good.
Yeah, we need you. We need you out here. Keep standing. Stay in the community. So I'm gonna be here, man. I'll be here for a long time. Listen, my baby 8 years old. So a lot of people got a long time to see me. Yes, sir.
Man, I think even after your kids going to college, get all their scholarships and all the stuff, you're gonna still be around.
Right. I will.
It's in your heart.
I
You know
will
what I'm
be.
saying?
I will be, man. I love my city. I love my people. You know, I love helping people, man. I go anywhere and help anybody. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I just helped a lady that I ain't even know put her groceries in her car. You know what I'm saying? The other day, because she was an older lady. She was in a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, you know, you add years to your life. You know what I'm saying? God gonna see. If nobody else see it, God gonna see the things that you do.
Yeah.
And He's gonna bless you because He know that you did it with a sincere heart.
Sweet.
You know what I'm saying?
Sweet.
So I just try to be good at people, man.
Bridge Over Foundation. How
Yes,
can
sir.
people? I don't know if you people can donate, people can volunteer. Like, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay, so if you guys want to donate, we have the Cash App. Let me look at the Cash App. I don't want to say the wrong thing or something.
You know what I'm saying?
Goodness. Listen, I'm glad this is here now.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I know my wife is gonna fuss at me so bad.
No, it's all good. Cut to me real quick. I'll wrap the part when let me know when you got it up. So
okay, it's Bridge Over $.
Hold on. We're gonna cut to you.
Got you.
Go for it.
$, Bridge Over 22. If you want to cash out, you can Zelle Bridge Over Foundation at gmail.com. Bridge Over Foundation at gmail.com, or you can cash out $ Bridge Over 22. And if you want to make a check out, Bridge Over Foundation, we'll do all of those things. And everybody has my number out there. You can contact me, 803-846-3175. It's on all of the campaign stuff that you saw.
Got it.
But contact us, get with us. If you want to help, if you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a mentor, I can tell you now that we have it where our mentors have to sign a contract to say that they're going to stay with the child for a certain length of time.
Got it.
We
so ain't no dipping in and dipping out.
Yeah, we're very intentional about making sure that they are there for the student. We don't need them to get anybody that's going to show up and then don't show up anymore.
Got it.
And so that is one of the stipulations that we have. But mentorship, just want to help out with some of the volunteer things that we're doing. 2023 is going to be a huge year, so we're ramping up right now. Oh, I'm sorry.
You good.
2023 is going to be a huge year, so we're ramping up for that right now. So definitely join in with us and help be a bridge to somebody else.
Got it. So again, Bridge Over Foundation is a non-profit organization, so they have to give account for every dollar that they get and spend.
That's
so
correct.
it ain't like you pocketing the money and it's
That's
going to not
correct.
show up because
That's correct.
you got to have
Everything.
oversight. So
That's right.
That's good. So you're sowing in good ground with
Into
Bridge
good
Over
ground,
Foundation.
yeah.
And also, like I said, KingdomCulture.tv. The free way to support is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's KingdomCulture.tv. You can also follow us on Facebook. We have Kingdom Culture TV on Instagram as well. So follow our pages so that you can see the latest like updates of what we're doing with the Kingdom Culture TV. For monetary donations, again, go to KingdomCulture.tv or either Build KCTV. That's buildkctv.com, and all the information is there. The information to give, the information about the shows that is lined up, the information about when we're launching, everything that we're connected to, everything is on buildkctv.com or either KingdomCulture.tv. So yeah, social media is there, and again, invest in black-owned media because you get things like this. Like those of you that never heard of the Bridge Over Foundation, you find out the heart of it and what it's actually doing. Like other shows like John Lakin and Friends is actually on the Kingdom Culture Network. So of course he's on Watch Fox. Of course he got his own YouTube, but he's also on the Kingdom Culture Network. So like for the election, we was able to run his special on voting, the 4-hour-long show, on the network that we would be able to do that on Watch Fox. So invest in black-owned media because this is the media that is going to empower our people. That is, in this being a faith-based organization, we are also going to make sure that we represent everyone well and have good entertainment with integrity. So again, you can invest KingdomCulture.tv, buildkctv.com. That's the end of my show. Black Couch Live with Shante Darby. Y'all check out some of the other episodes. Make sure you check out the Bridge Over Foundation and check out KingdomCulture.tv. Peace.